How is everyone doing today? It is August 5th of 2021 and we have another pepper that is ripening up and pretty much ready for us to sit down and do a video on. This one is the Shishito pepper. A few seasons back, I think this is our third season growing them in a row, we got some seeds from the Sapper Gardener Essayon's Family Garden shared some seeds with us. We were really interested in trying it as a alternate to the pepperoncini. Not a lot to say about it. Shishito means lion's head, and it's supposed to have a sort of lion's head at the end. Ours are coming in extra small, the plant and the peppers and everything, because we grow in containers, and this one is one that might be able to spread out a little bit every year for us, not just from the evolution gardening of growing it over and over in our yard, but also just because it is a really productive plant. Anybody's tried to grow it, I would seriously suggest it. If you're looking for a pickler, the pepperoncini might be a little bit better for that than this one. This one is used a lot for what they call blister pickles, but I'm trying to keep my videos at around 10 minutes for the pepper and tomato videos that we're doing as we test and push all these tomatoes and peppers in a very busy August so far. So let me just go ahead and get a couple of these off. I don't plan on seeding these seed pods, but we'll be able to try a couple ripe. This is one that I would say isn't too bad, not quite ripe. I'll take a green one here, I'll take that one here. It'll give me a chance to cut this plant back too, and as you guys can see, never seems to show up in the camera like I want it to, but this entire plant is only about 1.5 feet tall. There's actually two plants in there, about 1.5 feet tall and laden with peppers. So a really productive plant. This is the Shishito pepper. Blister cooking's the way a lot of people like to try it. Go ahead and snag this one up here too. Give me a chance to really kind of cut this back so some of these back peppers and around here can get some more. We've noticed that they do sort of lay out. They'll sort of branch out and reach into sunspots a lot more. Even for a longer pepper, they don't seem to get too tall for us anyways in containers. And as I was saying, these are a lot smaller than they should be. But this is the Shishito pepper. It is August 5th of 2021. We'll take you inside and take a closer look at these. We love you guys. Catch you in a second. Thanks for watching. Alright, so this is the Shishito pepper. These are a little bit smaller than they should be, but they're the right shape, and we're 99.9% sure that they're true to type on these. The Shishito pepper is one that's really unique in that on the plants they estimate about 1 in 10 to be hot. What you can see though is a lot of variance. They said sometimes they're 50-50. The heat is very mild, and then even the pepper itself, when they are no heat, almost has like a spicy little bit of a bite to it, almost like you would get heat if you had too much crushed pepper, so like the spice pepper.
Bitter taste.
Yeah, almost like a bitter. It reminds me a lot. The crispier peppers remind me a little bit of eating sugar snap peas out of a yard. Whereas in the Shishitos, a little bit with the flaky crust and a little bit of the taste on them reminds me a little bit more of eating a green bean out of the yard. For some reason, that's just me personally. These ones are not ones that we're going to save seeds on. A lot of times what people will do is they'll take and they'll blister cook these. They'll take really low oil, maybe add some soy sauce or some spices, and cook them up. When we've cooked them like that, it really reminds me of when we fry up asparagus for some reason. The taste is really just retains a lot of the flavor and has more of the consistency of asparagus. They are a flakier pepper. It says that the name Shishito means lion's head, and that name comes from Japan, but as far as the origin of the pepper, it just comes up as East Asia. So East Asia is the origin of the pepper, and lion's head is the Japanese kind of term for them that has been picked up in the US and other places. But I'll go ahead and cut these open. They're usually really good on seeds. We have lots more pods out there.
You cut it long ways too.
Yeah. This, I keep forgetting about it until I'm actually eating them and have it. A little bit of the texture and the flavor reminds me of okra, especially when they're green.
And it's a very thin-walled pepper too, so that's probably why they're best blistered or fried.
Yeah, I'm not sure how well it'll pick up here, but it's almost like there's two different colors in the wall here, and if you were to fry that up, what ends up happening is that inner layer kind of gets this blister that kind of retains some of the flavor and stuff of whatever you're frying it in. But a really good pepper. 1 in 10 is hot, and if it is hot, it's usually very, very mild. And I'll give a ripe one a taste too. These are not my favorite to eat as far as snacks and stuff. They're not, for a sweet pepper, they're really, really good. They don't really have a lot of uses. I don't think I'd use these in salsa, but these would actually work really, really well in a stir fry. Or anything you would have beans in, kind of.
We pickled them our first year, and they actually turned out really good. I think we pickled them with a little bit of spicy pepper, like maybe 1 or 2. But they were super sweet with just a little bit of spice. They ended up really good pickled. I liked them.
You want to try a couple?
Sure. Try the red one first. How are the seeds to chew?
It's not bad. It's a little bit like fresh young okra or green beans a little bit.
Yeah, the red definitely has some sweet. Not a lot, but definitely some. There's not that bitter.
We haven't noticed a huge variation between ripe and green. There is some. It is a little bit sweeter. But overall, the pepper is just almost like a veggie for a stir fry or a...
This one had a little bit of heat. Very, very mild. Very, very mild. Just barely a hint. But it was a lot more bitter than the red. So the red, I would, if I was to eat them fresh, I'd prefer them red.
So we'll probably just sit and snack on these really quick. A really, really great pepper. We're super happy to made it in the yard. When we first grew these, the first season, this is our 3rd season with them in a row. When we first grew these, they were an alt from seeds that we got from Sapper and Essayon's Family Garden, so shout out to them. But it was seeds that we had gotten from them, and we were trying to replace the pepperoncini. And when we noticed it had a more flaky crust and might not be as good as a pepperoncini as far as pickling, which has been our main forte lately, but we really, really liked it. So what we were going to do is swap out the pepperoncini the next year, then this one, then the pepperoncini, but somehow this one just keeps slipping through the cracks and makes it into our yard. And you can't really complain with a super productive pepper like this. That's good for several dishes that we do like to make, stir fries, and they do pretty good on pickling, but I'll show you guys the plant one last time and catch you in a second. So this is the Shishito pepper. So 2 of those out of 5 so far had heat a little bit.
Yep, 2 out of 5, and we'll try this one. And then on this one.
So 2 out of 6, 1 out of 3 had heat out of the 6 that we pulled. So there's got to be another 10 or 15 on the plant out there. And we've also gotten several previous to this too. We pulled several and just snacked on them out of the yard. But I had to show you guys really, really quick. We did find a couple with really, really mild heat. No need for milk or orange juice. No. I wouldn't necessarily give it to Kiddo, who's my 10-year-old son. I think that it might catch him off guard a little bit on the heat, even though it's super, super mild. But if he was ready for it, it wouldn't be something that I would be thinking that would hurt him at all. So the heat's super, super mild, but even cooked up or pickled, it would dumb that down if it was one that had it in it. And actually, the ones that have a little bit of heat are more sought after. So just had to show you guys that real quick. Catch you in a second. Alright, so it's starting to get dark out here. It is August 5th of 2021, and this was the Shishito pepper. Maybe this cooler night color will make them show up a lot better. One thing I did want to mention about this pepper is we always, these ones you can see are kind of shiny and crispier. We've always noticed a couple of wrinkly ones on there that'll form as well. Whenever we've taken the wrinkly ones off of the Shishito plant, either the crispier ones become more wrinkly or it forms a couple more. So if you're growing this plant, I don't know if you've grown it before, maybe you could let me know if you have the same experience with that, or if you ever plan on growing it, maybe look into it. But it seems like if you leave a couple of the ones that have the really crinkly skin, the other ones will stay fuller and stuff. So we usually leave several on, and if we notice one or two of those that have that sort of over flaky texture to them. But this is the Shishito pepper, a really great productive pepper to grow. Maybe not for salsas and stuff like that, but for stir fries, and it does work pretty good with pickling. I might want to mention, even though what didn't seem quite as good as the pepperoncini to us as far as a pickling style pepper, we really enjoy blister cooking them or using them in stir fries. And also the flakier, softer crust, it seems like you can use these peppers whole. You don't necessarily have to dice it up. A lot of times when we're doing pickling or canning like that, what we notice is we'll get an air pocket, and that air pocket forms because the liquid is getting into a pepper that we can't get it in there. We'll put pinholes or something in our peppers a lot of times to let that, as much of that, get in as possible, but it doesn't seem to always work out. So, I mean, I'm sure it's not showing up well in the dark. Maybe I'll try to brighten the video up a bit. But there's just peppers all over this plant. Yeah, it's getting darker. So this is the Shishito pepper, August 5th, 2021. We love doing these videos. Hope you guys take a look into this one, and we'll catch you next time. Love you guys. Thanks for watching.